Hello, this is my first attempt at being a real book blogger, and by real I mean I actually have like a ton of books. I have a TBR now, what was once a foreign thing that I would stare at Alexa and she would have a little mountain and pile of books that she would do. Now I actually have one of those. So shout out to the great folks at BookCon for granting us the press badges this year. You know, I personally, like any new blogger that gets invited to the table, do have this kind of overwhelming sense of gratitude to even have this opportunity. And so, without further ado, this is my book haul from BookCon and Book Expo 2017. I am going to do 3 piles. So the first pile is the immediate, I have to read these books well before August. I have my September pile, and then I have my October pile, which also has a little bit of January and February. So it's just basically 3 giant piles, and I'll try to go through them today real quick as a kind of a roadmap of what my next couple of months are going to be like. Without further ado, I'm starting with some Brandon Mull books. I have Fablehaven, I hear comes very highly recommended, and I have Dragon Watch, which is a Fablehaven book. I even got an activity book, which I don't have with me right now because it's over there. But when I do my review for these 2 books, I'm gonna want to be able to at least show that I probably bought everything else in between and well after. So thanks to us, and I got these final copies. These are final like versions of it. They're not ARCs, so super cool. The Never Seen books. Again, very environmental friendly kind of slant to it. This is an author who was trying to raise awareness around water. It came in an organic bag, and there's going to be a game coming out soon. And the author is Kaz, who I met at BookCon, is more than willing to get to be interviewed. So definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to reading these 2 books. The 3rd book is coming out soon. I got these copies from the author herself, so it'd be really interesting to review them. Then of course Slayers vs. Vampires by Edward Gross and Mark Altman. Really just curious because I really did this is a complete uncensored unauthorized oral history of Buffy and Angel. So I don't know if this is from a creator standpoint, and it probably is because I'm seeing some names like Marty Noxon and David Fury, so it's a lot of interviews, I guess, and a lot of articles. So very, very excited for the behind the scenes deals, not just the story itself, which many of you probably know and love, and I highly recommend if you want something very dated but very, very awesome still. I say dated because I actually watched a few episodes of Buffy and Angel and I'm just like, this is old, but still awesome. I have Nixia, which is kind of a sci-fi kind of deal. Definitely wanted to, got it while I was in line for Leigh Bardugo's book, which I will report last. We have Neil Patrick Harris, The Magic Misfits. So I was in line for this, could not get a photo with him, but I am very excited for what looks like baby Neil Patrick Harris doing magic tricks. It's The White Tower. So this is book 2, I think, and I think Wolf Princess would be the first. So I'm probably going to end up either trying to read this and then maybe getting the first book, or probably getting the first book and reading the second one anyway. Shadow of a Pug. It's an advanced reading copy I got, Howard Wallace PI. It's cute. It's kid sleuths, because why not, right? In the tradition of, I want to say the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. We have apparently 2 copies of this, Jane Unlimited by Kristen Cashore. The Goodreads description was a little interesting, but Alexa attended kind of like a thing about it and actually got to hear the actual story, and she goes, okay, that makes more sense. So it's not just about a girl who makes umbrellas, right? It's about a girl. It's some really cool stuff going on. This is just in honor of my mother. Hello, Mom. I don't know if you're watching, but they made my book years and years later. He's not lazy. That's just, I'm reading it because it's funny. And a guy with a PhD wrote it, so I'm thinking, could it have applied to me back then? I'm not lazy now. Haha, snicker. Super late, but super awesome. The Epic Crush of Jeannie Lowe. So, Demon Invasion is no excuse for bad grades. She excels at standardized tests and annihilating the bad guys. There's just something kind of almost B-movie-esque to this thing that I really, really, really want to do. Plus, kind of awesome superhero pose from a girl in a schoolgirl uniform. I'm in. I mean, a huge fan of the Mahou Shoujo genre. If we throw in a little shonen in there, hopefully not too much fan service, because, you know, we do want to get to the story. Zero Repeat Forever, which Alexa also got for me, so there's 2 copies of this thing. Dystopic, sci-fi-esque, post-apocalyptic, it seems. I kind of want to see what that's about. More middle grade, we've got Gamer Squad, Attack of the Not So Virtual Monsters. It actually says Pokemon Go meets the Goonies, and it's action-packed middle grade series. I played Pokemon Go. I really love the Goonies. I think I'm a Goonie. We never say die. The Authentics by Abdi Nazimian. Again, it's contemporary about American Iranian life, specifically American Iranian girls, and of course Leigh Bardugo's Warbringer. On a fun note, Leigh Bardugo dropped the lore behind Warbringer. Apparently she got some really cool leeway onto how to create the mythos behind the Amazon culture and all of that stuff. That was her special spin. Alexa and I attended, or were able to attend, the DC novel panel at BookCon, and Leigh Bardugo did drop a lot of good stuff about this book, so we will Hunger Games around this. I probably should read this first. That is my August, meaning everything in that pile just has to be read by August. It's just, I have to read everything in June, or hopefully the first week of July. Which leads me to my, I want to say, October pile. So these books are going to be reviewed, and the reviews should come out if I'm done by July, in August. So I'll try to do it about a month in advance. Starting with The Marriage Pact, which is psychological thriller, The Prince Warriors. So Priscilla Shirer. So I like to think this is in a Christian contemporary type fiction. I say contemporary Christian. Like contemporary Christian writers that write fiction. Modern day C.S. Lewis is if that's even a thing. Tolkien, right? Really interested to see what they've got there. These two books I got super cool. Was able to get a chance to meet the author for this one. It's called The Betwixters. Three realms, human and angelic and fae, and they have not met in 2,000 years until a tiny little fairy gets, thrown out into this human world and meets a bunch of kids who she didn't even know existed, this world. And so it's kind of cute to have that thing there. So it sounds very interesting, and this is the first in that series, I'd like to think, so I want to do that. And this one is The Secret of Souls. It's basically, well, I like the cover, and it's got one of that, again, it screams high fantasy, really. Is what it does. Okay, Kaffa, historical fiction, ancient Egypt. I'm gonna give this away to Alexa, I'd like to think, but I'm gonna review this one anyway because I did promise the author, whom I also met, that I would review it and hopefully maybe shoot her an email. Let's see if I liked it. I mean, it's set in ancient Egypt, so that's super cool. Orphan Train Girl. This is a finished copy. Part 2 of a book where there was this orphan, she was on a train, escaping probably the war, and then now she gets to have a turn, taking in a young girl who is also an orphan and came by train. So, yay for this. I just have to review the Never Ever Handbook by Soman Chainani. Super fun, and it's kind of really cool because I did read all 3 books. I just bought them all in one go, and I did get to see Soman Chainani at BookCon for a panel and a signing, and I'm super excited just to see how fun this whole world was put together and how well it's cataloged. So I'll get to put faces to names in this little handbook. It Devours is a super interesting book. Thought it would be awesome to review it, pick it up, see what it's going. Again, it breeds, I'd like to think, dystopic, future, otherworldly kind of stuff, at least if I understand that correctly, with some existential kind of religious, how does my belief system work with your belief system in a terrible world kind of situation that is mostly fictional, I'd like to think. Adventurers Guild. So again, middle grade, because I'm up to my eyeballs in middle grade books, and why not? Super fun because in one of the last cities standing after the world fell to monsters, best friends Zed Kagari and Brock Dunderfell have high hopes for the future. That's it for me. Like, me and my best friend save the world, that's my deal. The perfect score. So again, sometimes kids do the wrong things for the right reasons. So it looks like a ensemble piece, several characters, all of which are united by the fact that they have the statewide assessment tests approaching. So the pressures of being an American youth in modern America from a testing academic perspective. The Nowhere Girls. This is by Amy Reed. A bunch of girls kind of come around the fact that they just want some justice for certain things. Specifically, there was a sexual assault that they wanted to get justice for, and they just started a movement all on their own. And I think it's really, really interesting to see women stand up. Okay, this next one is Paper Butterflies. All right, so again, with my contemporary tragic stories where it's a really bad home life that she's just trying to, June is trying to just survive. And does she, is the question. And so we've got a nice little caption here. Can you fly with broken wings? And darling, the answer is you can try, and if you can, great, and if not, well, at one point in time you will get that break and you will get that updraft. And I want to see how she got hers. The Knowing. And again, I've been seemingly picking up a lot of book twos in this entire deal. Hopefully I will get to read book 1 before I start on my October pile. So this is really cool. Mustaches for Maddie. It's about a little girl who keeps mustaches in her back in her pocket just to kind of cheer people up, and eventually realized that she has a brain tumor. This is probably going to send me sobbing hysterically into the night and into the day, and I'm looking forward to it. Last on my October pile, but certainly not the least, is The Notations of Cooper Cameron. This is more middle grade fare of the contemporary kind. His grandfather passed away, and this is just him coping from that. And he's just trying to just get by, and I think that's very interesting. I love coming of age stories. And now for my November to January and February pile. It's my last mountain of books to conquer, which isn't much compared to most people, or especially Alexa, who reads like 300-ish-esque books a year. But this is the most that I've ever tried to attempt to do, and I think I can do it. It's possible. The Mortal Coil. So super cool. Cryptic back message where it says, if you're reading this, means I am dead. I'm like, okay. Have completed a Hydra vaccine. Our last chance at survival. You must decrypt it. Never let them take you. And I'm like, yeah, I'll read that. Definitely. Awesome. Okay. Rose Marked. So again, a bunch of healers, or at least one of them gets tortured. It looks like a lot of high fantasy here. Caption, to take on an empire, you must have nothing to lose. So it's one of those revolution type deals in a high fantasy setting. I'm in. Potion Masters, the Eternity Elixirs. So a bunch of there are a bunch of people called elixirists, and 12-year-old Gordy Stitzer is one of the few people who knows about that. So I am really looking forward to this. I believe it is book 1, so happy to put that on the pile. Another book 1 would be The Whisper in the Stone. This is by Camila Benko. Right, so this is due all the way in February, and I really just want to get all of these done. So these are, so ends at least the pile of stuff that I was able to get at BookCon. What I was able to buy at BookCon, on the other hand, is on my last pile, because as it goes, you know, you get a chance to come to to be invited to the table, do the extra reviews for books that have yet to come out. You're going to want to review them before they do, and you're only going to want to pick up books that you really want to read anyway, right? I think and even myself as an aspiring author, it'd be nice if, you know, I'm almost sort of trying to pay it forward-ish in advance that, you know, some kid or some guy or some girl is gonna grab a book that you've written and talk to people about it before it comes out, and hopefully that'll create enough buzz and people get interested, and the fans that really would appreciate that kind of work get connected to it and love it and go through that journey. And so that's kind of why I take this year's Book Expo and BookCon very, very seriously. Super fun, and again, grateful to be invited to the table. Anyway, so to round up the book pile, I have the Sisters Grimm series, 50% off, because Abrams books went totally insane, and so did I. So totally got that. And then from there, I also bought Me, Earl and the Dying Girl, because I'd never read it and I'd heard so many good things about it. I have Noteworthy, so it's about a cappella. Super cool, sold. And lastly, so there goes the Abrams book haul, from Quirk Books, My Best Friend's Exorcism, because, and again, basically, if William Peter Blatty had written the Exorcist, only instead of him it was Tina Fey, it would be this book. And I'm like, sold. And look at how campy this cover is. It's not focusing right, but look how campy that is. It looks like an 80s, like, you know, movie thing. It's even got a Please Be Kind rewind stamp, which I think is so dated. Cannot remember the last time I was kind or when I rewound. So that is my entire three mountain pile of books. Hopefully I'm gonna survive. It's a very huge and a very awesome challenge, and again, it's gratitude that fuels this. I mean, I'm gonna end it with this. BookCon is both the most amazing thing ever to the right person, and possibly hell on earth to the wrong person. You are literally asking somebody to stand in line for books that you will have to write about, i.e. kind of sort of make a paper on, and then you have to cover the entire event. That's just basically what it's like to be kind of to get a press badge. And so I take that very, very seriously. And so in kind we repay beautifully. So thanks to the folks at BookCon and Book Expo for being generous and inviting us to the table. These books will be reviewed and it will be on Alexa's blog. Check the links below, all that good stuff.